This clip is brought to you by BoutTheOnline.com.
And just for clarity, that song is what was, essentially turned into How You Do That, which Master P went on to rework with Beats by the Pound and obviously added himself a C-Loc. It had a huge video, was featured on the Unbounded soundtrack, and still a cult classic to this day that blew up. I believe it was even remade by Problem a couple of years ago, one of the West Coast artists.
Yes, one of the greatest hip hop classics of all time, man, and still to this day. We are but 30 years later. I want to say 25, 26 years this year. Considering really 26, maybe 27, because we were releasing in '96. Now P would remix it and release it in the summer of '97. I would debut again in the world in January 1998 and hit the top of the Billboard charts, hip hop and R&B in 3 weeks after my release. So the evolution, the alley-oop to the game was phenomenal. Still is to this day to be still relevant, man. So that's one of the greatest. You know what I mean? Paraphrase, beating songs. You know what I mean? Up into Problem that would even acknowledge that I was on the record. That so many people took different things from that record. So that it's still a phenomenal thing in this, way in this dance.
Yeah, no, definitely 100%, man. And I definitely agree with it being that type of classic. I'm going to switch quickly onto one fan question and then we'll get back to it. But we've got a fan question from Trio 301 TV. And he says, do you feel you get the proper due as an artist? Now, I don't know if he's speaking in relation to that song or just in general, but he says, do you feel you get the proper due as an artist?
Half slash. It's like a 50-50 or a 60-40 thing. When you're talking corporation and industry, we started that way. And the best way I can describe to you is like the rug was pulled from under my feet. You know what I mean? I signed a deal on the Strength of Masterpiece, C-Loc record, for 7 hours. You know what I mean? With Whaaat records. Great solo artists. I did the same similar thing that Ice Cube was doing when he left in WA. But as we know by print, Whaaat only put out 2 of those albums. You see what I'm saying? But from that, I was kind of in a sense, they had a fold and the merger started to take place right in the beginning of 2000. So a lot of stuff was going on in the world and definitely the industry. And it left me kind of holding the bag. You know what I mean? Well, P had walked me in. He was going this way. Loc had walked me in and he started our relationship straight. And everything else under the umbrella. I believe Ice Cube was leaving Whaaat and Mac 10 was leaving. And I was in that high anarchy when I first come to having the #1 record. But right when I got to the point, like, okay, now I can do what I want to do, and everything kind of collapsed. So it left it bittersweet for me as far as having the overall access to the world and keeping in mind at the time, there wasn't no internet. You know what I mean? Everything was tangible goods. So having that, you work all your life to get to the top level, then all of a sudden it comes down crashing like the Twin Towers on. And that's kind of what happened with me, back to the underground, back to independence. And I've pretty much been that way ever since, due to certain collaboration and connects along the way. I developed more industry friends and artists, so it gave me my own independent access, which I started off from selling tapes on the corner and doing my own self-distribution and all that, not knowing what I was doing at the time and what title to put on it. But according to the world, everybody feel like I'm one of the most slept-on rapper MCs of all time. I give it that. But according to life, it's kind of perfect order for me. You see what I'm saying? It goes with my life and equilibrium. But for overall worldwide notoriety, out of sight, out of mind. So, I say it like that.
Yeah, no, that's dope. And that's definitely a great philosophy and stuff as well. Not the average, but you've always displayed that you've got a different mind that's not just the average. And I think that's why a lot of fans and people have gravitated towards you and your music, even after the periods of obviously being pushed by bigger labels and then more underground and independent. You still had a lot of fans follow you through and still want to support the work and stuff that you did. Just quickly backwards on the No Limit topic, then coming into No Limit and recording that album, as you said, did you feel like you was more of an investment in a sense, or did you feel like you was actually a part of the you know, the wider no limit sort of roster and stuff, because a lot of people would say, okay, you only got to release the one album. Obviously, you did my own album afterwards and stuff with Priority, but with No Limit, a lot of the fans, even though it's one of their favorite albums, they feel as though you were kind of remiss on a lot of the other stuff.
Keep in mind, man, I tell everybody this. Anything you want to know about me and as far as the No Limit history, word I'm looking for. I'm on a few records. You see what I'm saying? The Down South Hustlers compilation and really backgrounding C-Loc on the record that he had. I didn't have a song on there. The About It record, you know, I would have. Say that again, my brother.
Yeah, C-Loc, he had that Who Am I song on there. I think he
Yeah, so I, you know, the background vocals in the background, I want to say that's the first time I did the little bits and pieces, the tidbits to No Mercy. Wicked When I Kick It Wicked. I think I hadn't listened to that record in a while, but somewhere along that time, all that was evolving. About It soundtrack, I want to say Sons of Funk sampled me, and nobody else record in the whole entirety I exist on. But keeping this in mind to make this clear for the public, I never was officially a No Limit soldier by contract and record, but by New Orleans and Baton Rouge. And the more we came around each other, we evolved into a family like that. So in the beginning, of course, it was strictly about business. I really didn't have to connect and back and forth with Pete, that Loc had. You know what I'm saying? Me being younger and developing, I didn't have a company at the time. I was a good right hand, you know what I mean? In that sense, I kind of rolled side solitude. Like I say, when you look at the record, the day they made me boss. So when everything collapsed, I had to boss up. I had to leg up to keep it going. That's why I'm saying that. You know, soundtrack to the street, and you know, and soundtrack to my life. But that was pretty much how that kind of went down with them knowing each other and working together in that sense. Left me to most so focus on being that art, you know what I mean, being art. So, yeah.
Peace, family. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check us out on aboutthatonline.com. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook for exclusive playlists and social media for all different types of segments and content.